Good morning. Look at this hair. I think it's about time for another haircut. I feel like I just got a haircut. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1083. It got to single digits yesterday, above zero. I'd never thought 5 degrees felt so good. I think we're supposed to get into the double digits today. Double digits. I think it's supposed to hit 10, 12 degrees. Woo! Put on them shorts. Shorty weather. So looking forward to that. I'm looking at the extended forecast, and wow, we might hit 30 again soon. Which is like it was probably 30, a week ago, maybe 10 days ago. But when you're like in sub-zero, like it slows time down. It's like, man, I feel like it's been below zero for a frickin' 6 months. And it's been like 5 days. When did it get? Actually, no, I don't even know if it's been 5 days. I was walking on Saturday. Today's what, Thursday? On Saturday, I was walking back and forth between the two hotels at Cubs convention with a t-shirt. And it was cold. Like I wouldn't want to stand out there for a half an hour, but just walking back and forth, it was comfortable. And then Sunday it wasn't. And of course the rest of this. So it's only been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days. We're on day 5 and it's supposed to be above zero today. So now the lows are going to be below zero for the next, I think, 4 or 5 days, but yeah, it's winter. It's Wisconsin. We'll deal with it. But we're less than a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting. That's awesome. Baseball season's underway. Baseball season's around the corner. Looking forward to it. Had some bad news yesterday. We took Biscuit to the vet. She's been having some health issues. And yesterday was a cardiologist appointment. She has stage 2 heart disease, which is not good. It's advanced enough to where she's got to take medication. And we have to monitor her. Biscuit's 11 years old. So with this condition, the vet said she could live with it for 1 to 5 years. I think 1 year is more on the, if it's not treated, probably only 1 year. Obviously, it's going to be treated. We're going to watch her like a hawk. But due to her age, 5 years. Yeah. So vet said probably, 2 to 3 years, which is never enough time. Dogs should outlive humans. It's not fair that dogs have shorter lifespans. So yesterday was a bummer when you hear that. You hope everything goes, smooth. But it is what it is. And, she is 11 years old. So you just have to deal with it, right? So yesterday was a bummer. But she's in good spirits. I mean, she's still, we have to, it's unfortunate we have to watch her diet. So we can't give her the goodies and we didn't really give her too much. We never fed her table scrap. Every once in a while, like if we had like beef stew or something, we'd give her put the juice on her regular dog food, but I have to watch that. She still gets her bone. She's excited about her bone. So she's still in good spirits. She still loves to cuddle. Mom's out of town. So we have this giant king size bed, and guess where I get pushed? To the very end of the bed. I was falling off the Biscuit. All 10 pounds of her was pushing me off the bed. But I'm like, oh, but you had such a bad day yesterday. I'm just going to deal with it. That's what we do for our dogs. It's like, we've got this entire bed, this entire empty bed, and Biscuit's right up on me, pushing me off the bed. But that's what we do for our dogs. We let them rule our lives, and that's okay because they're dogs. So Biscuit's sleeping. She likes to sleep in. She has my wife's routine. Although she does get up a little earlier when it's just her and I. She'll stay in bed with my wife. Sometimes my wife sleeps in, like, especially if it's a Sunday, my wife will sleep until like 11. My wife's also a night owl. And by night, like on the couch night, it's not like she's out. Neither of us are night owls in that sense. But when it's just Biscuit and I, because I'm up at, well, I slept in today because I was up early because Biscuit was pushing me off the bed, but I'm like, I'm just gonna lay in bed for a while. But she'll get up usually when I end the stream and go back up to get more coffee. Usually Biscuit's ready to go potty. I do have a daunting task this morning of collecting a urine sample, and I'm like, poop sample's easy. Like, Biscuit's like a little 10-pound. Like, how do I get under there with? I have to use an applesauce, like a little applesauce cup. Like, how do I get under there and collect pee? Hopefully, it's easier than, like, I'm setting myself up for failure. I need to be confident. I can collect this dog pee. See how that goes. Biscuit pooped in the vet. So Biscuit, and this isn't because of her health. This is just Biscuit being Biscuit. Biscuit hates cold weather. So when Biscuit was, gosh, how old? When we first moved in, when we built our old house, would have been 2016. So what's this year? 8 years. So Biscuit was like 3. God, she was a little puppy. My father-in-law was still with us, and we had to go to the landscape. Olson Toon Landscape was just down the road. And so we picked up some sod, and because our lawn wasn't in, we moved in that house in November. So we didn't get our lawn until the following spring, summer. So Biscuit won't potty on like dirt and concrete. So we went out, put all this sod. It was like before work on like a Wednesday morning. I'm like sweating. It was probably in the late summer still. I'm sweating before I'm in my like button down shirt and khakis, laying sod down at 7 a.m. before I go into the office. That's what we do for our dogs. So Biscuit's doing okay. She's doing okay. I want to talk about cards and people today. This was, and I think this is something we've talked about in the past. And I kind of have an interesting take on it. Probably not interesting. I think if we all sat down and thought about it, we all probably have a similar take to what I'm going to expound upon this morning. This was rooted in, I don't even know how the discussion began. It was talking about, I think it was talking about the journey to 1 million cards, where it's bittersweet because the journey has been, and it's hard to put into words. And even as I speak it out in spoken word, it's difficult to really get to the root where it's like the journey has been more fun than the ultimate goal of collecting 1 million Cubs cards. But that doesn't overshadow the actual goal of collecting 1 million Cubs. Like that's to me, that's very important, and I've stuck with it. But it's bittersweet because I have enjoyed the journey more than I am an impatient person, especially when it comes to collecting. And I had this conversation with somebody. I had a different conversation with somebody I met at the Cubs convention. And we were just talking about, collecting and all that goes with it. And one thing I said was, and this is true, I've never had a collection, like a focused collection that I've stuck with ever until now, until the 1 million Cubs project. Going back to when I was first starting in collecting, I was a set builder when I was 8 years old. I was buying 1990 Topps by the pack, building sets. Dick Tracy, I had a binder for the Dick Tracy cards. And then I started collecting Cubs. Like that was probably, I think sets were one of my first things that I collected. And then Cubs. And I had one of my first collections was Chicago Cubs cards. And I had I remember hitting 100 Cubs cards in my collection when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, probably 8 or 9. And I carried them around in a, remember McDonald's, I think it was probably a Happy Meal. They gave away those plastic lunch boxes. That's what I had. And I carried in, penny sleeves. We didn't, I know penny sleeves existed and, we took care of our cards, but as an 8-year-old, it was just about the cards. So I remember carrying around my Cubs collection in that McDonald's plastic lunchbox. And quarterbacks, I collected quarterbacks, especially I loved the obscure ones, I don't know, like Vince Evans. And Vince actually has quite a few cards because he had the 20-year career, but Paul Justin, Chicago Bears rookie in 1991. So I collected quarterbacks, but they were all short-lived collections. I went into basketball. I can't even remember what my basketball collection was. I think I just collected rookie, like Grant Hill. This was Grant Hill, Shaq. Grant Hill, Jason Kidd were the rookies when I was getting into basketball, or actually towards the end of because that was 94, 95, I think. Shaq was on the front end of my basketball collecting, and I think Grant Hill was on the back end. And then I went into wrestling magazines. I collected wrestling magazines. That lasted about 2 years, 3 years. And then I went into not really collecting anything because I was in high school and college. And then in the 2000s, I collected Bowman's. I was building Bowman sets. I remember I traded an Albert Pujols rookie for a bunch of Bowman commons. If you were on the Beckett forums, you're welcome. You got an Albert Pujols rookie for a bunch of 2000, well, would have been probably 1995 Bowman commons. But I never stuck with any of those collections. And then that thought even crossed my mind when I started the 1 Million Cubs project. Man, I never stick with any. What should I actually start its own Twitter page, a website? Should I really dedicate this much time to something I probably won't put extended energy into? I just went with it. And here I am. Just this close to a million Cubs cards. So, but it's been a journey of love for both the experiences, the people I've met along the way, and of course the cards themselves. Let's go into the chat. What's going on, chat? Happy Thursday morning. Fane's in the house. Good morning to you. Dan is here. What is happening? Brian, what's going on? Good morning. Almost the weekend. Again, it feels like it was just the weekend. I think my body has been rejecting healthy food because I ate so much crap for about a 5 or 6 day period. A lot of beer at the Cubs convention, a lot of pizza. And now it's my stomach is I haven't had any beer. I haven't had any pizza. I haven't had a lot of junk food. And my body's what is going on? Vegetables? Why are you giving us vegetables? What is with this healthy vitamin C drink? I learned a harsh lesson yesterday that if you consume too much vitamin C, it has the same effects as Montezuma's Revenge. I'm man, what was in those Brussels sprouts? I ate Brussels sprouts, not realizing Brussels sprouts have one of the most vitamin C packed vegetables, along with this, those Bolt House Farms vegetable or fruit and vegetable drinks. And it's vitamin C. I'm it's January. I was with a bunch of people. I don't want to get sick. So get some vitamin C boost. And I looked at the bottle. There's 1,200% of your suggested daily intake of vitamin C in this one bottle, on top of eating these Brussels sprouts. And I probably ate more than I should. And I had a banana for breakfast. So my stomach was pretty upset yesterday. I'm why is my stomach? Oh man, what is going on? Am I food poisoned by the Brussels sprouts? See, you always blame, nobody blames the pizza. When you get sick and you have, it was the spinach, it was the Brussels sprouts. Nobody blames the pizza or the steak when you get food poisoning. Well, it couldn't have been the pizza. It couldn't have been the steak. It was the vegetables. We always blame the vegetables. So my stomach's a little better now. So I'm just not gonna get healthy today. My buddy Brian's coming over tonight. I have a Chrome NPB box I can rip. So we're just gonna hang out, do some cards, and drink some beer, eat some pizza. Back to my body will be like, this is what we've been wanting. Beer and pizza. You've been feeding us orange juice and Brussels sprouts. What is going on? Jordan, what's up? Good morning. It's cold in SoCal. It's like cold everywhere, except for where my wife is. It's like 70 degrees in South Florida. Good morning, Kyle. What's happening? Mark's in the house. Biscuit is okay. Talked about that at the beginning of the show. Okay, but not a good prognosis. Dan can't say he misses this weather. 42 degrees in South Korea. We'll get back to 42 eventually. Mr. Corey Garcia, what's going on? Brian says it was a heat wave in Iowa yesterday. I think it hit 20. Hopefully that's coming our way. I don't think we're going to hit 20 today. I think 14 or 12 is the high. It did hit like 8 or 9 above zero yesterday. Christian says, schools in Southeast Michigan are open today and the roads are the worst they have been all week. See, the thing in we collectively as humans, not anybody here in the chat, this is not specific to anybody, but I see this on Reddit, on Nextdoor, we complain about the snow removal. What else is there? Like, unfortunately, our snowfall here, oh my God, Reddit, if you go on the Madison subreddit, oh my God, people are up in arms about the roads. It was literally the perfect storm for the worst roads, at least here. We had a heavy, wet snow and a whole bunch of it. It came in waves, and one of the waves was like in the middle of the night. So you get as much, and then all of a sudden it's followed by an Arctic blast. Either remember or maybe you don't know, but salt does not melt snow, ice, under like 15 degrees. So you're wasting time and money by laying salt down on the roads right now. And I guess sand would be a little helpful, but it's not going to do much unless you put like an entire, you layer the entire road with it, which you're wasting time and money there too. You just got to proceed with caution. So I think a lot of people don't understand that when the snow packs, like you can't just get it up and you can't melt it. It's just got to sit there until it warms up. So here in Madison, I think we've got a few more days of that because it's going to be cold yet for a few more days. Yep, poor Biscuit. Michael Renicky, what's going on? Good morning. Thank you, Mark. Red Light says hit the like button. Thank you, sir. We don't deserve dogs. Thank you, Running Buck Woodcraft. Peter's in the house. Good morning. Bill Simus. It's trash day for Bill. I got my trash out yesterday, and it's been so cold that I have so much trash. Like from the last I missed another Goodwill pallet, by the way. I was at Cubs convention. I missed it. But I had so much from the last Goodwill pallet, like just stuff to throw, like boxes and just like cards that were damaged and just a bunch of shit that I need to throw away. So next week's also recycling day. So I'll be able to put the cardboard in there and throw the rest away. Mark's German Shepherd is 7. My Staffy is 2. Shane says, sorry about the bad news. Glad to hear Biscuit still enjoying her life. Absolutely. Mark says, I like hanging around them more than some of my friends. Oh, amen to that. Yeah, I like when I walk, when Biscuit and I go for walks, I'd rather hang out with the other dogs than the neighbors. Like, hi, human. I want to pet your dog. Thank you, Tiger727. Let's see. Shane also likes hanging around his dog more than humans. She sits below my feet in the office when I'm there and whines for attention a lot. See, Biscuit doesn't come down here. The only time Biscuit really hangs out in the basement is to hide from either the cleaners or like at the beginning of when we still had contractors in here. She would come down. I've got a bed for her in my shipping room. So she would come down during those times. And then she comes down when I come down after dinner and she doesn't eat and my wife tries to get her to eat, she will come down and hide. Like I'm going to save her from the dinner monster because Biscuit just has never wanted to eat dinner. Which is, she's just strange. Some dogs are strange. She's one of them. Victor's in the house. Good morning. So I would like it if Biscuit would hang out down here because, but sometimes I'll bring her down and she'll hang out for 5 minutes. And then she's like, I'm going to go back up to she has a perch on top of the couch so she can look out over the pond. Although she doesn't really. Sometimes we have a chair that she likes to sit on because she can see out the front door and all the dogs walking by and bark at them. Good morning, Victor. Neil's in the house. Good morning. Red Light 34. Good morning. Philly Joe's in the house. Mikey says his husky woke me up at 3 a.m. Oof. Who is Jean-Paul Levesque? That is Triple H himself, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That was his, Jean-Paul Levesque was his WCW name before he went to WWF. Brian says, once you were done with 1 million Cubs, time to collect 1 million Ernie Banks cards. Oh my God. You know how difficult that would be. I feel like and this is what we talked about yesterday. Like we flippantly throw around 1 million because it's like, oh, I have 1 million of that. Not realizing what 1 million is. It's like, man, I feel like I have, and I know what 1 million, I know I don't have 1 million Ernie Banks, obviously, but it's like, I probably have 10,000 Ernie Banks. And it's like, I've been sorting and pulling Ernie Banks cards in a lot, like Ernie Banks has a lot of cards, a lot of modern cards. I have a lot of his vintage cards, but obviously it's more skewing modern. And I did log more speaking of, I logged more Ernie Banks cards into my trading card database account last night on the couch. And it feels like I've logged thousands of Ernie Banks cards, and my trading card database stats say I've only logged 814. It's like, man, I feel like I've logged like 3,000. And I'm still, so 319 of those are unique. I have 319 so far logged into trading card database. On TCDB, I rank 7th among Ernie Banks collectors. And I'm 7th, and I'm still over 100 unique away from 6th place, Passion for Baseball. So I'm in 7th. Passion for Baseball has 429. CDs for me is 5th with 481. Gorman VJ has 521. Wrigley Wax, who has a great blog, by the way, is number 3 with 541. NY Matrix has 660. And then number 1, 4, 6, and 8, 2,879 unique Ernie Banks cards logged on TCDB. I can tell you I most likely don't have 2,879. I'm starting to think, man, do I even have 660 unique Ernie Banks cards? Because I'm at 319 and I've gone through, I feel like, half my collection. So I guess we'll see as I continue to go through more and more boxes. But I think I'll be, when it's all said and done, I think I'll probably be between, if not second, if not more than 660, I think I'll be around 600 unique Ernie Banks when it's all said and done. But hey, maybe I find another box of Ernies that I haven't discovered. Because I did do a lot of sorting during COVID before I started my eBay, like really heavily shipping or listing on eBay. King Doug, how was CubsCon? We couldn't go for $800. It was amazing. I will tell you, $800 is a well worth its price. So many people complain about the price, but for what you get, like everything's, once you get inside, Cubs can, like everything is free with the exception of like buying things. Like bingo, you play bingo, you can win prizes. Doesn't cost anything. Opening ceremonies doesn't cost anything. Autographs doesn't cost anything. Now, you're probably not going to get Dansby Swanson. You could, if you wait in line at 5 a.m. and you're in line for 4 or 5 hours, you can get those types of autographs. You can pay $300 for a meet and greet. So I say it's well worth it. It's in my opinion, I'm also a diehard, like I am a die, and I think many people like obviously many people that go are like super diehard. Once you go, you'll make it a point. If $800 is tough to make, if you set aside money over the course of the next 11, 12 months and make it a point to go, and I swear, and if you don't like crowds, it might not be for you. That's the thing. Like, you don't have to be, I think it takes a special person to really love Cubs convention, because not only is, I think if you don't know anybody, it's not as fun. So if you don't have friends that are there, it's probably not going to be as fun. If you don't like crowds, it's not going to be for you. If you don't like standing in line, it's not going to be for you. But I love all of that. Well, I don't love I hate standing in line, so I shouldn't say that. But in short spans, I enjoy, I'll stand in line for an hour to get somebody's autograph. I'm not going to stand in line for 4 hours. I hate crowds, but the payoff is worth the crowds for me. So take all that into consideration. Food and beverage is super expensive. Bring your own stuff. That was something that I think I fail upon every year. And, each of us bring a case of beer, and we end up having to go on multiple beer runs through the weekend. And usually it's because we have many friends that are also there. Like, hey, can I have a beer? And but that's what we do. You just, hey, and then when you run out, hey, can I have a beer? Also, like, a little hint, if you do go to Cubs convention, the lines, first of all, anything in the hotel for food is expensive. Like, they had shitty ass pizza, and I don't say shitty ass pizza very, very often. But the hotel was selling shitty ass pizza, $10 a slice. Yeah, $10 a slice for shitty ass pizza. Like, most frozen pizza was better than this shitty ass pizza. This was like, I can say this now. When I was 10, school cafeteria pizza was the best thing ever. Now go have some, actually, this wasn't even, no, school lunch cafeteria pizza was better than this hotel pizza. This hotel pizza, like, there was, at least my school, we had enough cheese. I'm in the Midwest. We have cheese. I guess I'm in Chicago. They should have had cheese there too. There wasn't enough cheese. If they would have put more cheese on it, it would have been better. Shit ass pizza, $10. Fuck that. There's a burger bar, Chicago Burger Bars downstairs. There's another Riverside, I think. There's a few, like 2 or 3 restaurants. Well, Shoeless Steakhouse, you're going to pay a lot of money there. So there's like 3 restaurants inside the hotel, but they're expensive. And if you want to go to lunch at like Chicago Burger Bar, I've done that one time. And not only is it expensive, you wait like an hour, and it's not a good burger. So like right across the street from Chicago Burger Bar, you can just walk outside the door right there and walk literally across the street to Lizzie McNeil's, and you can pay like a regular for Chicago, but I think my burger was like $12, $13. Burger and fries. So, which is a lot better than probably 20 to 25. And at wait, I didn't even have to, I just sat at the bar, got a menu, got a beer, got a burger. So, I know $800 isn't cheap, but if you really want to make it to the Cubs convention, I would say start saving money and just set aside, when you can put money aside. Save up. You've got a year, and hopefully you can make it, because it's I think it's But I say this, and I think everybody's different. Like I just said, lines, people, all that stuff. Victor went for the first time last year, and he loved it. And he can tell you in the chat. But I say just try to make it one time. And I say the same with like Cubs bingo. I hate Cubs bingo. I went up there like towards the end, but I don't do the lines. And I feel like I don't want people saving spots for me for bingo just because I don't like. I feel that's very selfish because I'm well abled to stand in line. So I feel it's wrong of me to sit in the hotel bar while people are saving a spot in the front of the line to get a table at bingo while I'm enjoying a beer downstairs because I refuse to go up there. So that's why I'm like, I'm not going to sit in line. So I'm not going to, to take a spot. But I tell people if it's their first time, go play Cubs bingo because most people love Cubs bingo. I'm in the minority. Most people love it. So that's why I say to people, like, I don't play bingo, but I think you should. If you've never done it, you should play Cubs bingo. Most people love it. I don't. Check out my video, King Doug. Check out my video from Monday. Monday, I did Hobby Evolution, CubsCon, and there was I'm sure I missed a ton in that video, but go back, watch that, and I kind of review the weekend from Cubs Convention. So that would have been what, episode 1080, 83, 82, I think 80 or 81. Whatever. Today's Thursday, so probably episode 1080. Shane says, don't have cool looking cards or something unique, then the hobby never takes off. If it's NBA Hoops and Chronicles to choose from, the hobby would be dead. That's a good point. I like that because if the companies relied on what you like, what I like, they'd go bankrupt. I'd be like, make Topps Total, make Upper Deck 40 man. I want the third string catcher. I want cards of everybody. Just like Cubs bingo, I'm in the minority. Most people don't want, they want shiny refractor autographs. That's what most consumers, and this is something I mentioned in the private chat that I had, was I'm not going to call them collectors because most people don't consider many people within the hobby collectors. They're just in it for the quick flip, and that's okay. They're spending money within our hobby. I sell cards full time. I want that. I want more people buying cards. It's a good thing. More people in the hobby, whether they're flippers or not, is good. Consumers, we'll call them. Most consumers buying cards, buying into breaks, they don't want base cards. They don't want Chronicles. They want shiny. They want autographs, fancy stuff. Orlando, what's going on? Good morning. It's not time for $1 billion. It's not time for 2 million. 1 million, and then we'll fill in some holes. Huddle card collection, good morning. Gate City Paul, what's going on? Good morning. King Doug. That convention back in August had hella Shaq. Johnny M says, good morning. Listing Pokemon cards today that came in a lot I bought over the weekend. I almost threw them out as I know nothing about them. Some of these things have gone for $40. Ooh. Is Max in here? I don't know if Max is in the chat this morning. I'm going to scroll down to see. MD Sports Cards. Where you at? Let's see. No Max. Okay. So I posted about the Madison card show. Posted for the Madison card show last night on Facebook and pumped that ad. And I had four separate messages from people asking if there's going to be Pokemon. And I'm like, you betcha. And then I had somebody message me if anybody buys. And they're like, I have old Pokemon cards. And I'm like, go see Max upstairs, Pokemon shirt, Pikachu shirt, whatever it is. Go see Max, he'll buy. So a lot of people interested in Pokemon. I've seen its growth through dealers at least. I'm not able to really quantify consumers with Pokemon because it's not, I don't do Pokemon. And I'm not, I do see Max always has like a large group of people around his table. Other dealers that do Pokemon, same thing. But I've noticed that it's kind of it's not this. There was about a 2 or 3 month stretch last year where Pokemon was, and this could just be seasonality, where sports cards, there's a time where sports cards kind of take a dip. And Pokemon, I don't really, and other people can probably speak to this, I don't see a dip with Pokemon. Like I don't, especially with dealers wanting to get into the show, where it seems pretty consistent year round. But there was a time where like the dealers that were dropping out were sports cards dealers. And then the more and more dealers that wanted to get into the Madison Card Show, which by the way is Saturday, January 27th. Let's get that scrolling. Were Pokemon. Now I'm seeing, and this is also the time of year where it's probably sports cards are starting to get to the peak, where we're getting excited for baseball season. Topps checklist is out. Series 1 pre-sale went out this week. It's released in less than a month. We're in the football playoffs. Basketball's at mid-season. I think I think Upper Deck Series 2 is coming out. I think Bedard is obviously going to be the highlight of that release. So there's just all of a sudden, we're just in this perfect storm of sports cards again. I am sold out for the January 27th Madison Card Show already. I think I've got a waiting list started already. I think 5 dealers. I may actually even be oversold. I've got to go confirm with some people and get my semifinal details down next Saturday. So we're 8 days away? Good morning, Mark. What's happening? Peter says, maybe you said this before, but did the pandemic help you in your Cubs card quest? That's a really good question. That's a really good question, and it's difficult to answer. I don't think so. The pandemic helped me in some ways, yes. I don't think directly, but indirectly, because I was listing so much. So, and I touched on this yesterday, that my volume selling on eBay began, and I've been selling on eBay for 25 years, but it's usually been just hit or miss. I had an eBay store back in 2004, 2005, where I was selling, but I mean, I had like 100, 200 items. And the eBay store, like, it was a much different play. Like, you could have 100 or 200 items in it, like everything. There was an insertion fee back then for everything. So the numbers worked back then. Why would you have an eBay store with only 200 items? Well, it worked back then. But I really started gaining steam because of the pandemic. But I started volume selling initially to fund my postage that I was spending on trades. One year I spent 10 grand in postage for trades, which is a crazy amount of money. So it's like, well, how do I fund my postage problem? Sell cards. So that's kind of how that began. And then with the pandemic, eBay, like, hey, we're going to give you 50,000 free insertion listings. And I just went to the races. I still had, my full-time job. So this money was for postage money. I, make money. I'm going to go buy stuff. So I think in a sense, yes, it did, because I was making more money selling cards. So I had more money to spend on Cubs cards. I could go to a card show and I'd make $300-400 on quarter cards out of my bargain boxes. And I'd go across the room and buy a T206, a Joe Tinker T205, just from selling bargain box cards. So I guess, yes, I think, yeah, it did. It helped me build probably quality, because I ended up, buying more quality than just quantity. Now, I'm buying a lot of quantity too, but, all in all, a good amount of quality Cubs cards. Mr. Archer, good morning. Not good news. Not good news. King Doug says what? Gate City Paul says, when's your next trip to North Carolina? Mikey wants to know what all happens at Cubs convention. Let's see. So there's opening ceremonies, which is always fun. They introduce all the players, all the alumni. They introduce the new Hall of Fame. There's panels through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I don't do the panels, but they'll have like Q&As. They'll have this year they had a 1984 Cubs panel with players from that team. They had a World Series panel from 2016. One of the favorites is the kids only press conference. Now adults can go in, but only kids can ask questions. So you get some really good and many times funny questions. I think the highlight of the kids only press conference to this year was one kid asked Patrick Wisdom how often he works out. And Wisdom says about 4 days a week. And the kid says, that's not enough. And then he challenged him to a push-up contest. And the kid beat him. And then Wisdom goes, maybe 4 days isn't enough. So you get little things like that out of the panels. There's a lot of like Marquee Network does like signings. If you're a season ticket holder, there's certain autograph signings there, perks with season ticket holders. Sometimes just hanging out in the hotel bar or hotel lobby, you can see alumni walking through. They have vendors, so you can buy, the South Bend Cubs, the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, they have booths. Obvious Shirts had a booth. What else? They have Cubs Authentic Store, where it's like game used. I found a team issued Ethan Roberts jersey. You can buy like locker nameplates and bases and bats and cleats and all kinds of stuff. They have the Cubs team store where you buy the new merchandise. They have an auction, which has some really cool stuff. They have an archive, like a museum where they bring in like the 1907 and 1908 World Series trophies. They'll bring in, they had a thing with the guy who designs the statues outside Wrigley Field. There's like a never-ending stream of different things you can, autograph lines, obviously. So Cubs bingo on Saturday night, just so much stuff. Mark says, too much green vegetables can cause some serious gas. Have to take a break. Yeah, I know. Is it broccoli? I think gives me some bad gas. I blame the vegetables. You see, vegetables, blame the vegetables. Troy, what's up? Good morning. George, good morning. Good evening to you. I blame the pizza all the time. That grease gives me the trots. Tiger says, if it's green, it's trouble. If it's fried, get done. Hey, I like that. Nothing wrong with fried Brussels sprouts, but when they're not fried, it's trouble. Tony's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Troy says, Jay's got Rodriguez. Which Rodriguez? That's probably a dumb question. I'm going to go to Twitter real quick. Rodriguez. What if I just type in Rodriguez? Rodriguez. All right. I don't know. Is it Yariel Rodriguez? Let's see. Low Roller's got a new video out, scratching. Mark says, I have a buddy who lives near Buffalo. He's gotten 6 feet of snow in the past few weeks. Not inches, feet. We've got a paltry 2 feet last week. We had more snow last week. We had 7 inches more snow last week alone in like a 5-day period than what our January average is in Wisconsin. 5 days, just last week. 7 inches more snow than what we normally get in the entire month. And I think we're supposed to get another like small, like maybe 1 to 2 inches this weekend, I think. George says, all I heard during that last minute was you can't get it up. Sometimes you got to wait until it warms up. Well, that's what she said. Mr. Archer's in the house. Neil says, my boy Max will be 13, been dealing with health issues. Definitely my best friend. Dogs are the best. Raphael says, cousin Nadia and I were talking about Hobby Evolution regulars we'd like to meet. Top 2, Uncle Rich and Low Roller Scratcher. Hell yeah. Low Roller, where you at? Come to the National. Cleveland, Ohio. Need a hobby evolution con. Johnny M says, sad to hear about your pup. My pit bull loves to hang out on the recliner and watch TV with me at night. Yeah, that's what Biscuit has her perch on top of the couch with a blanket on top. And she just hangs out there like all day. That's her thing. We watched something last night. I stopped paying attention. It was with oh man, Bernie. Was it Bernie? No, not Bernie Mac. I don't know. It was on Netflix, I think. It's a movie on Netflix. Good morning, Brian. What's going on? Orlando says you need 200 5,000 count boxes for 1 million cards, filling up a room. Yes. Dan says, I have to listen on the replay, but wanted to sign in. Hit the like button and say some of the most therapeutic moments with cards over my life have been by myself. Cards with my kids has been great. Absolutely. Brian says, good morning. The hobby is about people and the cardboard. They are one. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. It is kind of collect. It's the chicken or the egg. Like what came from, well, you can make an argument for both. Brian says, according to Tech, Banks only has 5,805 cards. Yeah, I think he meant TCDB. Yeah, 5,805. I have 5. I think it's 5.5% of the collection. So far, logged 5.5%. I have 319 of the 5,805. What's funny is let's take a guy like Ernie Banks, 5,805, and he's been in a lot of products. Christian Hernandez, who's still an A-ball, has almost 2,000 cards, and he hasn't even reached AA yet. Dan says, also, I feel like the business side of the hobby, like the great group of folks here in the Hobby Evolution community, has been an awesome experience through some rough years, especially during COVID. Amen. Amen to that. I mean, this is my water cooler every morning. Like this is, and that's kind of why I started, because I was working from home during COVID. It's like, I gotta talk. I need to tell people what I had for dinner last night. And so this is my water cooler. Ryan says, super good insight for Cubs fans. What's up, Ryan? Neil says, surprisingly, Costco pizza is decent. $10 pie and $1.50 a slice. Yeah. And at Cubs convention, it's a $10 slice. And it's shitty. It's not even close to Costco. That was shitty. And I think I ate it twice just because there was nothing else. Like, I'm not waiting 2 hours for Giordano's delivery. Mark says, I save up a little each week for Christmas con. Well worth it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Talking Tati says, $10 slice of pizza. Just another reason to hate Chicago. So $10, you go to a ballpark, you're paying $10 for a slice. You're paying $15 for a beer. I don't think it's quite $15 yet. It's like 12 or 13. The reason I hate Chicago, did I talk about? Yeah, I talked about this. The homeless people, the beggars. I was taking the train in on Thursday. Didn't talk about that. Thursday, there's I'm pretty sure he was a homeless guy. Got on the train, tried to get into the bathroom. Somebody was in there, and I could tell he had to go. And he stopped like where the door is, and he just stands there. And I'm like, that mother effer is taking a piss on the train. Now, fortunately, he had like a bottle. He had a pee bottle on him. So he peed in the bottle and then threw it in the trash. I'm like, ugh. But yeah, like that's why I think people hate it. They just, if you travel Chicago with public transportation, you're probably going to hate Chicago. But Chicago, I love Chicago. Like, I hate the train station. I hate taking the train. I hate the L. But I love the city. Victor says it was a great experience meeting your favorite players, making great conversation with Giovanni Soto, Bobby Dernier, Jody Davis, Lee Smith. It was awesome and worth every penny. There you go. Love it. Stukes in the house. Good morning. Tom, East Coast Tom is here. I set up at shows for the joy of connecting with other collectors. I'm not there to pay the mortgage. There you go. I am not. Now I am. I didn't start that way, but now I am. Brian says Pokemon has a really good product and it's now multi-generational. Talking Tatis bought 2 Jumbo, 2 Hobby, and can't wait until I don't have any of them because they sold. Haters gonna hate. Keep moving on. Living one-handed, what's going on? The times I've set up at the Madison Card Show, my Pokemon stuff always sells, and I've never had much of it. It's like Pokemon is big. Pokemon, it's big. Shane says, maybe I just missed it when listing, but is there a way to add the promotion percentage to your listings through Car Dealer Pro? I don't think so. I think that's a setting within eBay that you just have to adjust. And you can pick or choose. But see, yeah, that's definitely a thing with, because I don't think that's in the eBay template. Car Dealer Pro is not connected to eBay. So you have to do that within your eBay settings, which is under probably your store management. I don't think it's under maybe it is under marketing or store management. Thoughts on the Tom Brady, Darren Fletcher controversy? LOL. I don't know why it's getting so much attention that it is. We've had Photoshop and airbrushing for decades. And I touched on this the other day because the 1974, I think it's 74, it's 73 or 74 Topps Bob Locker. It's a Cubs card. Bob Locker pitched for the Cubs, but it's an airbrushed card of Bob Locker playing for the Oakland A's. In the background is Reggie Jackson in a Cubs uniform because it was all airbrushed. Had to airbrush Reggie. So it's been happening for more than 50 years. So photoshopping Tom Brady onto Darren Fletcher, I mean, it's been done. It's been done so much that it's like, yeah. Like, there's probably not a Tom Brady picture. Like, he never played for the Expos. So you have to make it up. I don't understand why it got so much like, oh, Tom, what are you doing? George says, my thoughts on the Brady card thing is that some people are laughing all the way to the bank. Absolutely. And I love it. It gives more Tom Brady baseball cards in an Expos uniform, gets mainstream attention, and mainstream attention gets more people interested. More people interested mean more people buying. More people buying hopefully means they find me and I make more money. George says, I agree with Rod Carew on the shenanigans. TD Sports Cards is in the house. What did Rod say? I just think it's hilarious how upset people are about it. It is. I don't understand it. Tony wants to know, what were some of the items that they auctioned off? There was a Javi Baez game-used bat from the World Series season. There was, I think, a John Lester game-used bat. I think there was a Justin Steele game-used jersey. Basically, they have now, there's become such a big market for game-used that they sell very little game-used in the Cubs Charities Authentic store. It used to be you could go and buy game used jerseys of like random guys for $75. By Sunday, you could get them for like $25. That doesn't happen. The World Series happened and game used stuff gone. So now it's all like all the jerseys are team issue only. I think all the hats were team issue. They do have some game used bats, game used bases, game used batting helmets. That's about it. That's about it. Like most of the game used stuff gets funneled out through auctions on the Cubs website, through private deals. Like you can email Cubs Authentics and say, hey, I'm looking for, I actually did this when I came back. Because there was like, they have a flyer and it's like, if you're interested in any specific item, email this address. So I'm like, I emailed it. I'm like, hey, I'm interested in any Ethan Roberts game used items or any game used baseballs from this date, which was his debut, Ethan's debut. And they got back to me like the next day and they're like, hey, sorry, we don't have anything, left from then. Because that was 2 years ago. So I wasn't really surprised, but hey, it's worth asking, right? What's the worst they could say? We don't have it. So you can do that. And I'm sure the Cubs aren't the only team that does that. I'm sure if you're into game use stuff, You can email your authentic store and say, hey, I'm interested in this guy's stuff. George says, direct quote from Rod. This is Rod Carew. Maybe I am just a grumpy old man, and I respect Tom Brady, but is baseball so unpopular that we have to pretend a football player was a baseball player to get attention? Yes. Yes, Rod. The answer is yes. Unfortunately, the answer is yes. Shane says he has a point. He does have a point, but unfortunately, it is going to be more popular with Tom Brady in the product. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Good morning, Uncle Rich. He would love to meet Raphael and cousin Nadia as well. Porter's in the house. Good morning. How much is a jar of mayo at Wrigley? Shane's our resident mayo connoisseur, and he laughs. Kyle says, did you talk Dale Earnhardt with Jody? Been sick and missed most of the shows since you've been back. Okay, so I did not. Unfortunately times two, I didn't see Jody all weekend. Actually, no, I take that back. I did see Jody. I saw Jody Thursday or Friday night. But he was in a hurry. He signed a card. He signed his rookie card for me, but I didn't want to ask him because he was in a hurry. So he stopped and he signed some autographs for people, but I could tell he was in a hurry, so I didn't want to bother him. I assumed I would see him at least once more. In fact, I thought maybe he would even be in our hotel room because we were Club 400 Central, and he's tight with Club 400. I sat with a woman and her husband, and she like FaceTimes and texts Jody all the time. And I sat with them for a couple hours on Saturday before bingo. And I thought maybe Jody would make his way through, because usually he hangs out in the hotel bar on Saturday evening, but he didn't see him at all Saturday. And then I had the opportunity to go to a private party with Jody and Rick Sutcliffe on Sunday with Stu from Club 400. But I had to get home. My wife would have killed me if I stayed one more night in Chicago. So, and she left on Tuesday morning. So I had to get back to work and to just be home. So unfortunately I missed that. It was a small, I think there was only maybe 12 people with Rick and Jody. I think Gary Matthews and Bobby Dernier were supposed to be there, but I think they had flights that they couldn't make the event. It was at Murphy's Bleachers. So, but I'm sure I'll see Jody at some point this season. Either, I don't know if he goes to spring training or at Club 400, next Club 400 event, but I'll see him and I'll make sure I ask him. George says, I've pissed on a public bus that was stuck in a traffic jam in the middle of nowhere on an expressway. Powerade bottle in the backpack for the win. Huddle Card says, how would Brady have been given number 12 as a rookie? Oh, well. But you got it. You can't give him 99. It's TB12. Did we even talk about the topic today? And I don't think we kind of alluded to it. So basically what makes the hobby cards of the people? We're an hour in. Here's where we get to the topic. For me, it's the cards. Now, the people are great. The people make it better. The people enhance the hobby. The people enhance the hobby. But would you, and here's what I always ask myself, would I still, if it weren't for the people, if the internet went down and I couldn't do a YouTube video, if I wasn't on social media and I was just left in my basement, left in my house, just me and my cards, would I still enjoy collecting? Hell yeah, absolutely. Would I enjoy it as much? Maybe not, because I enjoy sharing my Cubs collection. I enjoy sharing my thoughts on the hobby itself, which is just enhanced. I would still love the hobby. I love it more because of the people. John, our friend John Newman says the hobby is the people. It's true to a point, but the hobby is the cards and the people. I wouldn't know any of you. Well, I would know Dave Arnold and Mark Twitchell, who watches in replay. I knew them before the cards. But everyone else, I wouldn't know without the cards. And that's, that's the good thing. It's the cards have brought all of us together. So it's enhanced the hobby for me and hopefully for you. The cards will always be there. The cards will always be there. I'll still love the cards. But the people do enhance the hobby. Orlando says hobby plus cards equals people. There you go. We have to have both. We have to have both to make it what it truly is. And I love it. I love it more. I love cards. I love the hobby, but I love it more because of the people. I would still love it without the people, but it's an enhancement. It's like a little blue pill. The people in the hobby are the little blue pill. They enhance our hobby. They make it grow. That's my thoughts for today. So hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Check out my eBay store. I added over 300 new cards yesterday to the eBay store. 99centcards.com, which is true. 99centcards.com. Many of the cards I listed yesterday, 99 cents free shipping. Well, how do you make any money? Well, if somebody comes in and buys one card for 99 cents free shipping, the answer is I don't. But like early this morning, I had a transaction where I think at least 20 or more, maybe 30 99-cent cards that I listed yesterday were sold in one transaction. Some of those people got a deal. I had a Jordan Walker, second Bowman card. Not his first Bowman, but his second Bowman. 99 cents free shipping. I thought somebody would buy it just because I've put like Jackson Churio. I've dangled some carrots. 99-cent free shipping. Now they also got 25% off. So they actually got those 99-cent cards for 75 cents. But when you take 30 cards, what's 30? Even with that discount, 30 times 75. Let's do that math. That's $22.50 for a bunch of, dime cards. In some cases, dime cards. Commons in some cases. But there are also some Jordan Walkers. And they'll move. So that's what it's all about. 99-cent cards. Free shipping. Do I want somebody to come in and buy Jordan Walker for 99 cents and free shipping? No, it does help your transaction numbers and hopefully a positive feedback. And hopefully they're in the area. I love putting like Brewers and Packers cards for 99 cents free shipping because where are the Green Bay Packers and the Milwaukee Brewers? Right here in Wisconsin. What's also here? The Madison Card Show. So I can put my Madison Card Show business card in there and I get a little extra touch and hopefully, hey, oh, look at this. They come to the Madison Card Show. Maybe they'll stumble upon my quarter boxes. Like, yeah, I bought some cards from you, came out to the show. Oh, you've got awesome cards for a quarter. Boom. It's this cycle. It's like a snowball. It's the snowball. So 99-cent cards, I'll be adding more. I don't know today. I've got a lot of shipping to do. So we'll be adding some more shipping. Adding some more cards at some point this week. Porter says, I enjoy my alone time with my cards. Always have. Absolutely. I sat down between shipping and listing yesterday, and I'm trying to. It is a bitch to sort, man. Man, it's a bitch. I've got 12 monster boxes, 12 4-row boxes of 2022 Bowman draft. Now, they have been sorted like a dozen or 15 players have been pulled. Jackson Holiday, Drew Gilbert, Jet Williams. Some of those guys have been, all the Cubs, they've been pulled, but there's still Drew Thorpe. Somebody else that's been moved. Jacob Marcy, who's been selling. I think Chase DeLauder is still in there. There's one other that I'm like, I'm probably not going to put this for 99 cents. But if I there's over 100 of each, 99 cents, somebody might come in I'll buy 100. I'll get them for 75 cents. $75 in a transaction. So I'm working on that. I only got like 2 rows sorted. 2 rows out of 48. So I have my work cut out for me. But I enjoyed it. And then I looked and I'm like, oh my God, I got 46 rows to sort. And then I didn't enjoy it as much. Cards is the steak of the people. Cards is the steak. The people are the salt and pepper. There you go. The steak is so good. You don't need the salt and pepper. but the salt and pepper enhances the flavor. The steak would be good without the salt and pepper if you cook it right. But the salt and pepper enhances that flavor of that steak. Shane, that's the star of the day. That is the comment of the day. Cards is the steak. People are the salt and pepper, enhancing that flavor. Shane, you win. I don't know what you win, but you win for comment of the day. Flipping Sports Guy says, Bo is a six-figure seller from 99-cent free shipping, but don't ask about the profit. Ideally, it's a lot. It's actually, you'd be surprised by the profit. The 99 cents, if I sell one card, I'm losing money. And I honestly, I do a lot more volume on 99-cent cards than single. Every once in a while, I'll ship out some 99-cent. Just overnight, I looked this morning at my sales, and my sales just like all of a sudden took off overnight. Yesterday, I had a better day, still a little below average, but much better than the last week. And then all of a sudden this morning, I'm already like, as of 7 a.m., I was already at like 50% of my daily goal, which usually at that time of day, I'm about 20%, sometimes not even 20%. No, sometimes like 10% most of the time. So what's my recent sales? So a lot of 99-cent cards. So there's a single 99-cent card sale. This was 40 items. Not all were 99-cent cards, though. No, there were some higher end cards. Here, this is a different transaction. Somebody bought 3 99-cent cards, so that's a $3 order, 63 cents shipping. 3 cards, there's 78 tops, so they can go in one of the Card Saver ones. There's another single 99-cent card. So we're 2 out of 4, but one of those really made up for it. Here's one with 4 99-cent cards in one transaction. So it's worth it to me. As long as you have enough volume, or as long as you have enough volume of listings, it's well worth it. So hit up my store, 99centcards.com, buy 7 or more and get even cheaper, 25% off at checkout. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Back at it tomorrow. Oh, it's a free-for-all Friday already. Jesus H. Time went fast, didn't it? We missed last week because of the convention. I do have some of my non-sport. Oh, I found a box of Panini Americana cards. So we'll do again. I've got some Heritage. I've got some Ginter. I've got a couple of my quarter boxes. Got some football. We're not doing soccer. We learned a lesson last week or 2 weeks ago. We're not doing soccer. But I got my Hollywood cards. I got the Panini Americana. And we'll have some fun tomorrow. Free for all Friday, we play Name That Player. So we'll see you then tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Visit my eBay store, like, subscribe. Back at it in 23 hours.